He's coming at you from the top. Oh no, no, he won't stop. Thalmor Radio. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Thalmor Radio.
Thalmor Radio.
What's up? Welcome to the January 15th episode of Thalmor Radio. I am your host, Thalmor, coming to you live in a trailer in a mountain valley deep in the Kentucky wilderness. I got a horse penis coming on. I'll be talking to him here shortly. Looking forward to it. And let me talk about some house cleaning I'm doing. You can see the horse genitalia, but you cannot eat it. I'm sorry. Well, maybe. I guess it's up to him. But anyways, yeah. He said okay. So, what was the first fucking thing? I think okay. So, I've decided there's a proverbial axe above the server, and I'm deciding to bring it down. And the first thing that's going to be chopped off is the news channels. With Thalmoria, I've only ever wanted to do something if I knew it could be done well and with dignity. And unfortunately, I don't think the news channels have much to them. There's very little actual news posted, and most of it is just me shit posting. So I'm going to launch an attack on the media. There will be no more news. I mean, I'll probably keep one channel open as like a general thing for when really big events happen, both in real life and in the game. But they're going bye. Thank you. I know Sun Tzu posted some stuff. I know Nokia did. There were a few people who put in an effort, but I don't want them around if they're just going to be inactive. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the news channels. And maybe make a whole new one and keep it. But all of them are going bye. CCP moment. Yeah, so it's going away. And Hillbilly is volunteering to post stuff. Thank you, but I mean maybe in the future I will bring the new stuff back. I'll organize a team. The whole thing was that this server is really dedicated towards my show here, and the news thing was just supposed to be a bonus. Uh, and so it was never really that serious. I don't think this server is a news server like Royal Orbis News is. I think it's just an entertainment server. So the news stuff is going away. Um, what else is there? And speaking of cutting things off, some of you may be going, maybe not you if you're listening right now, but this server has I think 200 people in it, but yet we only get what 20 to 30 people each night. I know some people can't come every night. I know some would come more often if it wasn't this time on a Friday, but for some people and it's not just like people with no mask. I'm talking about even some Thalmorites. I think it's time for another culling. We did a purge when I first took over the server and kicked like 150 people, and now it's time for a second one. North Korea, they usually talk um, about how like socialism becomes too hard if you have too many people. So that's how they like help justify like the mass starvation and everything, because it's like, oh well, it's okay. Same thing here. It's too hard to run a coherent news thing with too many people. So can I get my rolls back? Yeah, Borg. I'm okay. You can have Thalmorite at least. Borg, why do you no longer have your rolls? Did you leave the server? I'm guessing you left the server because I'm pretty sure you weren't kicked. Purge will probably be this weekend. This is the warning. If you if you're worrying about getting kicked from the server, you're not going to get kicked. It's people who are completely unaware I'm announcing this right now who are most in danger. So there you go. I propose we kick Thalmor. I concur. He looks funny. I don't know about him. So there's there's a purge coming. And Horsecock making the white supremacists for right, the white genocide is happening. I already picked up that joke and ran with it back in September when we did the first purge. So it's funny. Kick your hacker friends. I've thought about it. They're not listening, I'm pretty sure, tonight. I've thought about it. All right. So, um, yeah, going to be reorganizing the server. I'm also getting rid of the January 6th DC parties thing. That's done and over with. Um, and I was thinking about replacing it with that specific channel will be archived, but I probably will create like a general politics thing because I think there's enough people, including myself, interested in that. And I think that's it. Oh, and I wanted to say it's not in the itinerary, but I'll talk about it anyways. I've thought about it some more, and I'm still not going to discuss politics, but I will still cover news events because there may be funny stuff. Like I'm talking about a funny thing later that's in real life, and there may be other things. So I put the final call back for real life topics. So I will discuss real life stuff, just not politics. Um, Okay, I think that's it. Now I can talk about the game stuff, and I think there's some exciting stuff to talk about. Because there was a new awards thing, and that may be interesting. So first off, there's a new thread up in Orbis Central to name the last global war, and that's all I know. I don't have a good name for it. Usually, when a global war happens, it's very easy to think of a name. Or at least a decent one. I can't even think of a decent one for the last one. Oh, hold on. I need to do something. Zig, distract people.
Off on the recording. uh yes, we still forgot to do music, so you'll have to deal with that. But that's okay, because that's not the point. We're not here to listen to music. We're here to
How about we just call Global War 16 Global War 16? Mm, all right. So they made a thread. I haven't been following the thread because I don't really care. People will name it whatever they want. The only name I care about is that the 69-day war is the 69-day war and not Dance Dance Revolution. That's the only naming convention I really care about. And that's that's been what 2.5 years ago. So whatever. Um. Okay. I think the next thing I want to talk about was the. Oh no, not that. I'm not there yet. That one long name alliance signed a treaty with the Micro, and some people were mad about it on the forums. And there's been an interesting evolution, which is that people were like very diplomatic years ago, and anytime any treaty got posted, they were like, "Oh, good job, good job, good job." And then the zeitgeist changed. Then whenever Micros posted a treaty, they got shed on endlessly for it. And now it's shifting back to whenever a treaty gets posted, people are like, "Oh, good job, good job, good job." And that's interesting. And I'm still in the camp of like roasting micros because I don't like micros. Yeah, disband immediately, delete. Just kind of mean actually, but oh, I think it's fine because I don't like micros. So Horsecock, I'm having you on later. What are your opinion of micros? Should we congratulate micros when they post the treaty? He's not typing anything. Oh, now he is. Just downvote. Yeah. So even like I think that's the consensus among a lot of people is fuck micros. All right. Oh, I didn't unmute myself for recording. What does that mean, Zig? What does that mean? Is that bad? Is it or was it just funny?
That means that if anybody decides to listen to the recording, um, there's going to be a nice awkward 3 minutes of absolute silence. Nobody will realize there's not just absolute silence.
Well, that's okay. This is going to be a little longer episode, anyways. I think so. That's fine. All right. So, um, okay. Now the main politics and war topic, which is people are mad about the rewards. I haven't really participated in them. I think I voted on like one of the threads, but that's it. I do not believe in democracy. Democracy is a sham. Every vote is a suppression, uh, and so I didn't care for it. But people were complaining and whining about it. I know. I think I saw Mars said some stuff. I can't remember who else was complaining. Some other people were. Um, what was the point of contention? Does anyone remember? Stop the count. Well, oh, the the idea that like there were reps who got more of a say in things was kind of weird though. What was that about? Didn't the votes of reps also count more or something? Firewolf is apparently investigating. Oh, okay. Is- Go on, Zig. Go on. Gotcha. Oh, so you was the faithless elector then.
It's not a faithless elector when none of my constituents voted. I'm maybe a rogue elector.
So yeah, people were mad about the process of the voting, and now I think there's been some anger about the results, hasn't there been? Zig, I need you to fill me in on this because you were presiding over it just a little bit ago.
So, as the presider, I can tell you. Let's see. Shame Eclipse didn't win Best Rookie, but E404 is good too. Yeah, that wasn't really that much of an upset, but that was I think a close one. Eclipse versus E404 for Best Rookie. I think it was a little bit ridiculous that TS basically swept the everything. Um, People got a little bit mad that Rose won FA for the year, uh, and then TS won absolutely everything else. TS was a little bit salty that Rose managed to win in foreign affairs. People were salty that Alex won awards, um, which I think that was okay. I thought it was funny that nobody in Swamp won anything at all. Nobody complained about it, but nobody in Swamp won anything except for the TI TFP split off of Swamp. They won that. uh, let's see. But who? What else were? What other things were there that I'm forgetting about?
Who won best contributor to the community or whatever? Because I was nominated for two different things and they were both like that. I'm pretty sure I didn't win though,
I
because I think
know
I would
I
have heard
didn't
about
get
it if I did.
nominated. Ugh, for anything. No, you didn't win. I can tell you that. I don't remember who did win because I don't think I cared enough to present about that one. Um,
Yeah, it was a pretty small one. So TS clean house is basically what I'm hearing, and Rose
TS
some.
absolutely cleaned house. I think Adrian won like 6 awards as well, so Adrian also cleaned house. Um,
Gotcha.
I don't know. There was definitely another. There were definitely more complaints as well, but I didn't pay attention enough to really care about it.
Gotcha. Okay. Uh, okay. Anything else happen in politics noir I should go over? No one else. No one is saying. So probably nothing else happened. Awards should be abolished again. Yeah. The awards are always a shit show every year. The people always just complain, and maybe they should. I don't know, but awards
Honestly,
should
I
be
think
abolished. That's a good idea.
I think we would have less complaints if there were like 10 things to vote for, and maybe if it was less of a popularity contest. We really only need like 10 things. I think there's way too many. There was
Yeah.
there were 75 categories, uh, which is 65 too many, honestly.
Yeah, I get that feeling too. There's too much shit to look at and think about. Okay, so I want to talk about this poor fucking bird. I posted the story in real life news. But there's this bird. I think it's a pigeon, right? It was in California. It hitched a ride on this boat and it ended up in Australia, like 6,000 miles away, right? And this Chad bird is going to get its fucking head blown off by the Australian government because they're scared it might be carrying COVID. And that's just peak Western government right there. We gotta euthanize this poor bird that did this really funny thing, because it might carry COVID. And I don't know. I guess the Emu War, like in the memory, the ancestral memory of the modern Australians, the embarrassment that was the Emu War must just be really thick on their minds, because like it's not enough that they have to be cucked by their native birds. Now they're scared of being cucked by foreign birds. So I don't know. It's unfortunate. Just shoot and get on with it. Yeah. I don't even know why it's a news story. I mean, I guess it's okay that they shoot the bird, but it also seems like, I don't know. Okay, chat. One for yes, two for no. Should they execute the bird? Three for don't know. Okay. There's more votes for one and some for two. So y'all just want to like eviscerate this poor thing. Oh, my homies hate birds. This poor bird. It's not enough that the Australian government wants it dead. Now the people of Thalmor also want its head. Oh, I think my angle is that like I don't know. I guess it makes sense for to kill it, but I don't know why I'm torn on it. Because I understand it. We can make new birds. I understand it. Um, th- yeah. I mean, if there's a possibility it might kill a person, get rid of the bird. But at the same time, it just seems silly to me. Oh well. Um, Anything else in real life I should talk about that's not overtly political? Oh, well, I don't know. It's silly to ask that because there's been so much political bullshit since the sixth. So, um, okay. Are non-political stuff even interesting anymore? There might be. I already talked about the capital stuff, Nokia. They've made over 100 arrests since apparently related to that. Oh, and they used one way that they're finding people who did it is by tracking like their phone GPS data. So uh, if you ever want to commit the crimes, turn off your phone and take out the battery. And actually, you know what? Just leave it at home. Do not. If you want to do crime, don't take your phone with you. They will use it to find you. I don't even use burner phones because all that shit's tracked. I think. Yeah, probably. I mean, you'd probably even if you did it online, like your credit. Well, I don't know. There's a private. You have to be really savvy with it. But the activation process for a burner phone, like let's say you activate it in the store. There's a security cam footage of you getting it. If you activate it online with like a debit card or a credit card, they could trace it. So I don't know. Like, just don't commit dumb crimes. Well, to be fair, Boric, we're trying to commit smart crimes. But they have security cameras at the store. Steal it from the shop? Maybe. But I don't know. That seems difficult too. Hillbilly said something interesting and drive a pre-06 vehicle. Like, yeah, that's another thing. Like, especially like Teslas. Like, okay, Tesla's like the future, right? All of our cars in the future are going to be like Teslas are now, right? Like if you commit crimes in the car, your own car will snitch to you to the government. How long do you think Dollar General keeps? Fair point, CCT. Fair point. Yeah, that's fair actually. Actually, maybe just ride horses so that way your car can't track you. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Lord Tyrion. Just ride horses. All right. So, this is your crime advice from Thalmor. I do not condone the crime. Do not commit the crime. But if you're going to commit the crime, do so smart. I was thinking about that, drug lord. If you steal a friend's car to commit a crime, like that helps because you have the vehicle without it being attached to you. But then the whole element of stealing the vehicle has its own risks. So I don't know. Right, a horsecock. All right, so I think I'm done yapping on. Nothing interesting in real life happened besides they're going to execute the poor bird. Um, okay, unmute Horsecock and let's talk.
What up?
Hey, what's poppin', Horsey?
I just want to say right off the bat, I'm kind of disappointed that I wasn't on when at the very start, that you didn't even unmute me at the start because I would have completely shit on your intro.
You posted the lyrics in chat though. I thought you were into it.
I mean, it's a good meme, I guess. But it's not anything as good as like Trend by day, Drogen podcast by night, all day.
Fair
It's
point.
Thalmor Radio.
All right, so first things first. What the horsecock? Where the fuck did that come from?
Oh, yeah, that is actually a long story that involves some of my friends from another community, like all the way back in 2012. But I always tell the story that when I joined this game, it looked like shit. I wasn't gonna play it for more than a few days, maybe a week or two. And then some fucking retard messaged me in game. His name was Vladimir Putin, and the rest is history. So the name just kind of stuck. I only made the name as like a meme name because that's my go-to meme name, and I wasn't expecting to take this game seriously. And then when I did, the name had already stuck. So
Gotcha. How did you get into this game anyways in the first place? How did you find it?
oh yeah, I was trying to remember that recently, and I did remember it because I googled some extremely obscure meme. I think it was the Bhutanese shadow market, and some guy, probably someone active who was deleted quickly after that, had a name themed after that, and that's how I read. I just googled the meme because one of my friends actually invented that meme, and some guy in this game was named after it, and that's how I found it just randomly.
And so why did you create an account? What interested you about it?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I've never in my life before played any MMO, any kind of browser game, anything like that. So I didn't really know how this stuff worked. I had no idea about any of it. So was kind of like my first experience with it. It just the concept of the game just looked interesting, I guess. So I just made an account, took a bit of a look how it works, and yeah, thought it was shit. But back then, I Discord, I didn't even know about the entire community aspect of the game, which obviously is pretty much 99% of the game. So when I found out about that, when I joined KT and saw the entire Discord and shit, and how big the community around this game is, and that most of it actually happens on Discord and not in game, that was kind of mind blowing to me because I had no idea shit like that even happened.
Yeah, gotcha. So it was it was Vlad who recruited you.
Mate, pretty much everyone in old KT was recruited by Vlad. He was the best recruiter ever.
And like he was also good at poaching. He was so good at
Yep.
it that it's like voodoo shit.
Yeah, but you have to admit, a lot of the people he recruited or poached were just retards.
Well, that comes with the game.
Yeah.
Like Yang said earlier before the show, 95% of people are retards in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So, when did you join? It was obviously in 2017, but do you remember roughly what month or period of time it
I
was when
think
you
it was
joined?
like the beginning of May or late April, somewhere around there.
It's probably maybe a bit later, but yeah, I say it's about right too. So from the time, I want you to try to summarize KT's history from after I resigned to before you quit. Think you
Wait,
can do that?
Borg just asked Germany. Is that me? Yes, I'm from Germany, Borg, if that's your question. Okay, KT history.
I thought you were from Cocania.
Well, I am from Cocania. Yeah, KT history. I mean, I guess I don't know how interesting that is for most people. I guess the more recent history is going to be more interesting for the people who are in the game now. But I guess it could just help people like understand more of the people involved and their personal backgrounds. But yeah, originally when KT was created, it was, I mean, you created it. You were a shit leader, you know that. It got extremely big, and you were even proud of dodging the global war like Good Friday. And KT grew to like the third biggest AA in the game, and it was a protectorate of the second biggest AA in the game, Pantheon. Like that's ridiculous in itself. And then like in mid 2017 is when all the good people joined, like first Vlad, then me, then Theo, and then Kigas. And we started just making KT good, like enforcing membership standards, kicking out all the trash, getting good at the game ourselves because most of us were still noobs at the time. And yeah, you said starting with when you resigned. You forget, I wasn't even in KT when you resigned. Because I think like
I could have kicked you out.
a day or two before, I left over all of this stupid shit that caused by your bad leadership. So I was just done with the bullshit. And when you said, yeah, when I was disobeying your orders and I don't know, fucking with your shit because you made some stupid decisions, I was like, yeah, I'm good with leaving. I wanted to get out of this shit anyway. And I think this was actually one of the most important decisions in my personal career in this game because if I hadn't gone like solo raiding for 3 months, I wouldn't have learned a lot of the stuff I did because that's when I really started getting good at the war mechanics and so on. I even learned how to make Google Sheets on the first day I was out of KT because I knew I wanted a specific tool, so I just created it and we're still using it today. So
Yeah, gotcha. And so I resigned, and that
yeah,
was
and then like
something that
after I left, like a day or two later, they forced you to resign. That was hilarious.
yeah, and getting you back was something they did pretty quickly after.
Well, it was. I mean, I had always promised that I would. I would still consider myself as a KT member. I would come back next time you do a series war. And the first global war that KT was in was obviously the Islamic Crusade. And yeah, before that happened, yeah, Theo talked to me that they're gonna do a war, so I was probably coming back anyway. But I also had started making some other plans, like maybe I was gonna turn Ark into a serious alliance or something. But that probably wouldn't have even been possible with people like Blue Balls leading it. Anyway, uh, then about late February 2018, Theo fucking Theo and Vlad started a group chat with me and fucking begged me to come back because I don't know why KT was in dire straits. They had some problems with some gov members in there, the entire Aris drama and so on. So yeah, then it was just like a no-brainer. My loyalty to KT was too strong. I had to come back.
Yeah, I remember. I think Eris took like a bunch of core people with them,
Yeah,
just trying
like
to undermine shit.
yeah, he tried. That was around the same time he stole Pantheon's bank and blamed it on KT. And we had some suspicions, like especially Theo, that he was even trying to steal KT's bank. And so Theo wisely removed all of the bank perms from government. I think that was actually the right decision because one of the guys we still had in government at that point did then also go to Aris and leaked a lot of our HighGov chats to him.
Yeah, no, let's see, Eris. He also went by Indra. I forgot what his name was. He was still playing when
Theo.
not the last global, but the global before that. And but I
His
think
name
he
was
quit. He
Theo.
was an NPO. Theo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Theo. He was ended up in NPO.
Yeah, and I think he might be gone now, unless he's back. He changed his name
I
a
hope
lot.
he's gone. I hope he's gone. He's one of the worst
So-
people I've ever met in this game. I mean, sure, he was smart. He knew what he was doing, but he was just pure evil.
Yeah, he had that chaos element thing to him. So, they begged you to come back. You did come back. We went
And
through.
Then Islamic Crusade started, and then in Islamic Crusade, I realized, like, I mean, sure, it was the first big war for KT. It was the first global we were involved in, and I think the nominal head of our Milcom was Vlad at the time. But I quickly realized that really KT had no Milcom. None of us had any idea what we were doing in military matters. So I just picked it up and learned pretty much everything about Milcom, figured it out within a few days or weeks. That war lasted like a month. I implemented some strategies, some tactics that I learned as a pirate. And yeah, we turned our war performance around, and after that, I just stuck with Milcom for the rest for like 2 years.
So that would be us in 2018. Did
Yeah,
anything
2018. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened in 2018 with KT. Like early and mid 2018 was like the golden age of ET, our training alliance. It grew insanely big. Like at one point, I think it even passed KT in score. Had like 100 members. Both were in the top 10, and we were just ET was just rolling micros left and right and telling them to join ET for peace and shit like that.
Yeah,
That was
that
hilarious.
was a great
yeah,
meme.
ET had so much chromosome energy at the time. It was hilarious. And then then mid 2018, the whole Juan situation happened, and we got rolled by TKR. And yeah, and from those, I don't know, 100 noobs we had before then, only like 10 stuck around, and those became some of our best core members. I think people like Barbarossa were part of that generation. Because yeah, that's always the story with KT. We have extremely high standards for our membership, especially I do, and it's always like, sure, sometimes you got to recruit a lot of people and then just sort them out later. But it's usually when a big war happens that you really find out whether people are KT material or not.
Yeah, you need that trial by fire to see, okay,
Yeah,
how
you
well
do.
do you know what to do? Can you listen to government? So forth, so forth.
And it's always funny to me that some of the people who end up becoming our best members are noobs who joined directly before a big war. Like even Denniston was one of those guys. He joined before we started Surf. I think he was a total noob, like a few days old when Surf's Up started.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's obviously one of our leaders.
Yeah. Let's see. So, 69-day war happened. So what happened after all that?
After that was one of the worst periods in the game for me and for KT, I would say, because of the global politics. That was when there was for the first time in my history, I've seen a hegemony, a real hegemony, which was obviously that entire coalition that rolled TKR in Nightfall. And they dragged out the war for I don't know how many months. It was also at that time the longest war, and people were pressing ridiculous peace terms. And yeah, the temporary hegemony, like I called them at the time, was like pretty much the entire game outside of TKR, Guardian, Grumpy, TCW, I think, was all that was even on that side, on that dogpile side. And pretty much everyone else banded together and rolled them and even acted like it, like a fucking hegemony. Like we in KT TGH, we were like a small block at the time. I think it was only KT and TGH at the time. And we couldn't even I mean, obviously we were both warmonger alliances, so we desperately wanted to do a war, but we really couldn't because we would just get added onto the perma war list by the fucking Germany. And they even, I mean, if you remember what IQ did in that war, they even manufactured CBs on some of their own allies just to dogpile someone else. I think it was Bad Company. Do you remember what they did to Bad Company?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They fucking some of their peripheral allies, I don't know what that block was called. Vanguard, maybe? Yeah, I think it was Vanguard. It was like I don't know what all the shit alliances basically that were always on IQ's periphery. Yeah, they knew that Bad Company kind of wanted to split from IQ. So they kind of leaked internally within their sphere to that entire block that they together were all gonna hit KT and TGH, I think. And then the only reason they did that, they weren't even planning on it. The only reason they did that was so that BC would leak to us, and then they used it as a CB to roll them. Like they literally manufactured that entire CB, and it was obvious that they weren't honest about it, because if they were, they would have had to roll Polaris too, because Polaris leaked as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, IQ plays dirty.
But what people forget is that some of the same people who instigated that war and were the drivers of that temporary hegemony are still doing the same shit now. Even with IQ gone, IQ weren't the only ones back then who started that war and were the big pushers of it. I think I remember Abbas was the biggest driver of that war.
Do you want to go into more detail about that in particular, or do you want to
Yeah.
save that for a bit later?
No. Honestly, I don't want to go into into details about that at all because I don't give so much of a fuck about global politics, unlike other people. I just want to roll shit and fuck stuff up.
Gotcha. So I think now we're approaching. We signed Guardian and Grumpy into our
that
block.
that was done early 2019. So we had a really long peace period where we couldn't do anything, and after that we started to really kick off. We got Grumpy and Guardian into our block. It became K-Talk, and yeah, I mean, getting Grumpy and Guardian into the block itself was a bit of an ordeal because they are notoriously inert. They just don't make any kind of active decisions on their own. So it was a lot of negotiation to even get them in. They didn't even know that TKR was going to drop them. Like, we knew that TKR was going to drop them, but they still didn't believe it for a while.
Mm-hmm. So we signed them into us, and we really didn't get a whole lot of opportunity to really enjoy that relationship because
Well, the thing is, about that period in time, like early mid 2019, there was that was when the minispheres started appearing. Like we actually had two real minispheres in K-Talk and Chaos. Right? Chaos was like TKR, Soup Kitchen, and SK and Church of Spissology. So we had two real minispheres, but then we had two huge spheres in like BK and the entire BK sphere, which was most of old IQ with all the shit pixel hugger AAs in there, and then NPO and TS, their sphere, which was also huge. And obviously later we found out that they were all on the same side in NPO LT.
So we started Surfs Up against
we
Chaos.
started. That was the thing. I want to talk about a bit how we even got to Surfs Up because we were trying to start wars that entire time. It's obviously we didn't have many targets because that entire BK sphere and TSNPO, each of them individually was like 3 times our size. So the only equal target was Chaos. Obviously, for political reasons, most of our block didn't want to hit Chaos because Chaos were the people who were closest to our own mentality with the real minisphere shit. And so most people wanted to hit the BK sphere. But to hit the BK sphere, we couldn't do that on our own. So we pretty much reached out to everyone else, but especially Chaos, and Chaos just didn't want to do it. Chaos just did not want to do it. They were just, we're just rebuilding. We just came out of a 3-month global, blah, blah, blah. So instead, I was probably the first and biggest proponent, for hitting a Chaos block because we just desperately needed a war. We desperately needed a war. I didn't even care who we were going to hit, so might as well pick the only one who I could convince the others we could hit. So Chaos it is. Boom, we hit them. It was a pretty good war. I mean, they were a bit bigger than us, I think, but pretty equal. And yeah, then obviously the TCW league happened. And we found out about that entire bullshit between BK and NPO that we're still allied, that TS was being played. I mean, TS at the time was... okay, a bit on TS later. I have a lot to say about TS because, yeah, they're obviously an important alliance. But yeah, then the Sphinx leaks happened in the middle of Surfs Up. So we just did a ceasefire with Chaos. And then we had to work together. Like, the global picture was pretty clear at that point. The BK sphere and TSNPO were just gonna pick us off one by one and dogpile us individually. So we kind of had to make something happen. So we actually managed to convince Chaos to just turn around, team up against a BK sphere. And then I pretty much had to organize that entire blitz within 2 days, man. That was chaos. But we pulled it off, and the blitz went surprisingly well. We actually were winning that war pretty heavily, despite being still heavily outnumbered. Until, of course, infamously, NPO showed their true colors and entered in and turned it into a dogpile again. And I think, was it the very day that NPO entered the war, TS just straight up cancelled them, wasn't it?
I think it took maybe a day or so. Sorry, I was quiet. I was eating some candy.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. I could talk. So yeah, then TS pretty much realized that they'd been completely played. And the thing with TS at the time was TS was extremely incompetent at the time. They had terrible leadership. I don't even know if they had party. No, they didn't even have party at the time. I think party was like retired or something. So they just were completely fooled by NPO. They had no idea what they were doing. They were bad, terrible at war themselves. Because like TS didn't have a real war since like Get Good Friday, like 2 or 3 years earlier. And since then they hadn't really done anything. They became complacent. They were just mostly incompetent pixel huggers who didn't even know how to fight. Even in Nightfall, when they were on the part of the dogpiling side, they still went massively negative in stats, I think. So TS were in dire straits, and they kept being shit for most of NPOLT until basically Theo took it upon himself to make them good. And yeah, like when Golden Horde disbanded, Theo took most of their members, including people like Shiho and Justin, and he took some of KT's members, and he made KT's TS's government get good. He made TS get good at war, and yeah, that's when TS kind of turned around. And I'm not even mad at Theo for leaving KT over that, because I think he did some good work over on TS. I think TS is actually a respectable alliance now. I never could respect them before.
Why couldn't you respect them in the past?
Because they were just incompetent.
I thought
Wait,
they were decent. I thought they were decent for a while.
Fuck off. When?
2016 to.
That was before my
2018?
time. 20.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was before my time, yeah. But I think in 2018, they just didn't do anything. Like mid 2017 to pretty much mid 2020, they just did nothing for 3 years straight. No, mid 2019, so 2 years. They just did nothing.
Now, I know during MPO's last time, like they had a lot of problems with their government though, and their Milcom. I think I don't remember when it was, but earlier last year, I remember someone said that like the Milcom basically said stop trying.
That's the impression. I mean, it's no coincidence that once the KT triumvirate had split up and I was the only one left, that I just straight up canceled the entire coalition and said, fuck you guys. Because at the end of the war, I hated my own coalition as much as I hated IQ. That's how bad they were.
So what did our coalition do wrong? Because you divorced
Everything.
us from them.
Yeah,
I
noped straight the fuck out of them. I mean, they were a lot of the alliances, especially the big alliances like Rose and TS, they didn't even fight. They pretty much just resigned, refused to fight. Yes, Rose were fucking bragging about how many spies they killed when they didn't even declare any actual wars, and went massively negative in stats. And yeah, that's as in Rose. And you can imagine all of their allies and all of the micros were a lot worse than that even. By the end of NPOLT, the only alliance I could even respect anymore was TKR, because TKR was actually a really good alliance at war at the time. And yeah, TKR, like I think a year ago, TKR, I think TKR was actually the second best war alliance in the game, just competence-wise. I hear now they've gotten a lot worse again, mainly because they lost Blink and Goldie, who were their main Milcom guys. So it's not a surprise that they went downhill militarily, but I hope they can recover. I mean, I hope Blink just fucking goes back to them and turns it around, man.
Avatar sounds like just officials moving around, people moving around.
Yeah, Blink and Goldie retired. That's a big. I think that was a big factor from what I've heard.
So, you directed us to be going paperless. Talk about that some.
I think first we have to talk about what happened in KT during NPOLT.
Good idea.
Because that was probably one of the biggest turning points. No, probably the biggest turning point in KT history, because it all happened in a very short time. And basically, yeah, back when our triumvirate was like Theo, Kigos, and me. Obviously, Kigos, if you know him, he's purely a political guy, full of bullshit, never even cared about his own alliance, and just did FA. Then Theo and I were the main driving forces inside KT, but by the end of NPOLT, it became pretty clear that we had different mentalities and different goals in the game. And Theo was pushing to straight up disband KT. I was gonna go along with it, but the only reason I didn't was because I found Dennison, and I'm extremely happy I did when he came along when he did, because without Dennison, I probably would have had to disband KT because I had no interest of doing it all on my own. That's just way too much work. So yeah, Theo cared more about like the politics. Meanwhile, I was always the guy who wanted to enforce the highest standards for membership, was pure warmonger. I mean, in that war, even in NPOLT, we saw like that most alliances were getting fed up with the 8-month-long war. They were extremely in some kind of strategy game, you would say they had war weariness. But yeah, they wanted to peace out, and no matter what the terms were. KT, on the other hand, just thrived in it. Like, I mean, you saw a war performance. KT, that was the perfect environment for KT. Just endless war, the people, and then yeah, obviously not every KT member was fully on board with that. We had like maybe like 20 or 25 people who were hardcore fighters who never failed, never went inactive in the war, all put in a great performance. And then we had like a handful of other people left who weren't fully on board with a year-long war. And those were the people that Theo took with him to TS. And the core that stayed behind with me were just the purest hardcore warmongers.
Yeah, and it sucks because we lost a lot of members over that war, and then you know how life happens, and even after the war ended, some of those people still peeled away because of real life and stuff. Which we're recruiting again, and people have been coming back lately.
Yeah, and yeah, even then after I was the sole leader, or when I was the sole leader of KT last year, and just after we went paperless, like the entire mentality of the alliance kind of shifted, because we weren't a big alliance anymore, and we didn't even want to be a big alliance. We only wanted a very specific kind of people, and we started specifically recruiting those kinds of people. Like I personally never even did any recruiting or poaching or anything like that before Theo and Kigos left. And then once I went paperless, like which was like right after, I just started recruiting the people who were perfect KT material, like people like Katachite, Calpio. That was back in the day then. And yeah, that's happening again now. Since I'm back, like I've been actually surprised that a lot of the people with the same mentality have joined KT even in my absence, even when KT wasn't really doing KT things. And now we're getting some more people again. Like yesterday, Mars joined. I know you have some problems with him, but it just sounds like dumb personal drama, and I don't care about that. Yeah, different alliances in this game have very different, are built around very different things. Like there are alliances who are built around OOC out of context themes, like let's say Rebionism or Goons was a good example of that. They are bounded together by things outside of the game, right? Then there are just other alliances, mostly micros, who are held together by like personal friendships and stuff. But KT is like the complete opposite of those things, because KT is built purely on in-game competence and a warmonger mentality. So that's why I never care much about OOC shit. I never care much about personal drama. I just want the best people, and the best people are attracted by that to KT.
Yeah, some alliances like Goons and even NPO are like offline communities, and some are based around themes and such. And
I mean,
KT are just complete savage psychopaths.
NPO was at least a gaming community. I think NPO is a pure gaming community. They only play like other MMOs, right? Like games like this one.
I believe so, yeah.
So I would say they are more like a game community, yes, but not purely in this game. Like KT is purely PNW.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, back in 2017, it was Eris. He was like, "Oh, KT." Well, even I think Theo talked about some making KT into like an offline community, and I was thinking, "Oh no."
I don't think that would even be possible by KT because pretty much most people who are in KT are only here because we are good at the game and nothing else.
Yeah, I don't think the willpower from anyone is there to make that happen. All right, so you've explained what happened towards the end of MPO's last time. Um, the war ended. All the MPO people got executed, and um, why don't you explain what we did after the war ended, Horse?
Oh, that was after the war ended. We did the crusading season. Like that was probably the most fun I've had in this game. Because yeah,
I
I always had like the idea beforehand of when a war's over, KT doesn't care about peace. We're just gonna use the opportunity while we have low infrastructure. Instead of rebuilding, we're just gonna chain a couple of wars together. That was always my mentality. Other people didn't like that. But then I was the sole leader, so I could do whatever I want, and I just did exactly that. We did like 4 blitzes within a span of 2 weeks. First, we rolled like 20 micros all at once. Then we rolled, what was it, Iron Front. Then we rolled R&R, and then GG Fu. And finally, when we rolled GG Fu, Rose stepped in and finally put us out of our misery.
Yeah, that couple months after the war ended when we were paperless, that was some of the most fun I've had with
Yeah,
KT.
I was
It was
like, I think
fantastic.
it's. I was like on another level. Like I was scouting possible alliance targets every day. Like see who we can hit, what who would probably enter then. And even I was actually kind of disappointed by how many people just ignored their MDPs and just didn't even enter when we hit their allies. The
Well, it
best was
became a
like
meme.
yeah, it became a fucking meme, and I think it's because people were intimidated by KT. I had already built up my reputation of never accepting peace terms, never pushing peace terms, and KT obviously already had the reputation of we don't care if we get perma ward, we love it. So if you want the perma wars, then go ahead. So especially because of that, I think most people just peaced out very quickly. Like even Rose was begging for peace after one day.
And they
Obviously, I
were
didn't
really
give it to them.
mad that you didn't give it to them.
I don't know. Well, at least Valk didn't seem mad, but some of their members were definitely mad.
Oh yeah, that was a funny forum thread. All right, so you quit the game after a couple months into that. What
Yeah.
happened there?
I mean, I was just fed up with all. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff going on. I was becoming more busy IRL, and yeah, I was kind of. I pretty much had achieved everything in this game that I wanted to achieve. I had a lot of fun, went out in a blaze of glory, and then I just, yeah, I didn't care that much anymore. It was just always when you play this game for multiple years, it just starts to drag on you. And then it was, I think when I made the decision to quit was around the same time Sheepy announced the new war mechanics. That was like the last drop, this straw that broke the camel's back.
You don't love the new changes?
Fuck off. I mean, does anyone actually like them? I guess Swamp would like them.
I don't think I've seen anything but disdain for the changes.
Yeah, so,
Has anyone seen anyone like them? Does anybody listening like them?
like,
And people
how the fuck come that Sheepy didn't just roll them back? Everyone pretty much agrees that the old mechanics were amazing. The new mechanics are utter garbage. They have no nuance. They promote only a single playstyle. You don't have many possibilities. And yeah, it just promotes a static playstyle and it promotes dogpiling. You can only win if you have superior numbers. The entire war mechanics changes that happened last year.
Do you not remember them, Zig?
Here's the thing is I don't pay attention to war ever because I don't really like it. So I don't
You
actually
don't like
know
war?
what it is.
Okay.
Was it the formula thing?
Mate, pretty much everything got changed. Okay, if you don't care about war, then you could just tune out. Yeah, but yeah, then actually when I was out of the game it was pretty good. Like I actually did a hard cut. I did pretty much. I talked to almost nobody from the game for 7 months. I didn't even think about the game, and that was honestly a peace of mind that I had never felt for 4 years or 3 years or something. Because this game is always, yeah, just the responsibility of leading an alliance. And you always have it in the back of your mind that yeah, something pressing, something could go wrong. It's just a constant stress sometimes. So yeah, that wears on you over years. And when I didn't have to think about that anymore, just yeah, my life got a lot more peaceful.
Yeah, the 6 month break I took in the middle of MPO's last time was very clearing. Although I'm happy I came back. So, you left. You put Dennison in charge. What do you like Dennison so
Mhm.
much for?
Well, at the time, he was the only one who was capable of leading the alliance. I mean, he was already my second in command from the time our triumvirate split. He was the only guy who was active enough and intelligent enough to really do what's required. Because at the time, we didn't really have any other people who were leadership material. So it was just me and Dennison. So there was no other choice. Obviously, I had to put Dennison in charge, and he did good to keep KT alive. But I even warned him when I left. The last things I said to him were like, if you're on the same side with Rose or even TCW next global war, you fucked up massively. If you let Kigos run the FA of Hedge, you fucked up massively. The thing is, yeah, Dennison isn't the type of big swinging dick that can just uh, impress his will or KT's mentality upon the entire game and make shit happen on a global scale. He doesn't have the balls for that, sadly. So KT kind of became pretty irrelevant, and just then in mid-December, I talked for the first time after 7 months. I talked to him again about the game, and I pretty much saw, yeah, I I hated seeing KT in such a bad position, just sidelined politically, only participating in dog piles. Uh, that's when I kind of decided, yeah, I have to come back because KT needs to be turned around. KT needs me right now. That's when once again, like in early 2018, my responsibility and my love for KT came back and kicked in. So I kind of had to come back.
It's kind of like a reverse prodigal son. The father leaves and then sees the son not do well, so the father returns.
I don't know. I mean, I still love Dennison. I think he. The thing with like Dennison is he doesn't have the, like, I don't know, yeah, just the testicular fortitude to stand up for KT's ideals when it really matters. Like someone like me, I don't have a problem with making the tough choices when they're absolutely necessary, instead of just staying passive and just because a big decision that needs to be made might be inconvenient or risky. Like I always take that chance.
It's a personality thing. I think Dennison's been wonderful.
Yeah, but
I
KT
think
needs
he's best
something like
for
that.
internals. Yeah. And I just don't think he has the experience for that kind of FA stuff. But I think he had a role to play in KT, and I think he
Oh,
played
he
it pretty
definitely did.
well.
I mean, if it wasn't for him, then KT wouldn't even exist anymore. So I'm eternally
Yeah,
grateful that he kept it alive.
yeah. And so you've returned, and now I think we should talk about the most recent thing with KT, which is that we left Hedge for a new block. You want to go into that?
Yeah, I had that plan set in stone the same night I decided to come back. That's how fast I worked on that. Yeah, after I talked to Dennison and decided to come back, the first guy I hit up was Theo, obviously, because Theo was always my best friend in the game. And yeah, I talked to him a bit during the 7 months I was gone, but never about the game, never about the game. So he didn't know that I was coming back yet. I hadn't told anyone. So I just hit him up and asked him about the game for the first time. What's going on right now? And so on and so on. He instantly told me that he was making his Rail Alliance, the company. And so I pitched the question, what would you do if I came back? And he instantly went, I'd sign you. And yeah, just rolled from there. I mean, Eclipse were the obvious allies for us. I mean, I didn't know Eclipse exactly because they only formed around the time I left, but I knew Mythic from back in the day, obviously. We almost merged with Mythic before I left. And that was something Wayne and I pushed. And the people, they didn't, we didn't end up merging. They made Eclipse instead. So it was obvious that they had, Eclipse was the alliance that had the mentality that's closest to KT. We're just perfectly compatible. And even Dennison had kept up great relationships with them. And I think they said the only reason they didn't want to sign KT when we were in Hedge was because we were allied to Children of the Light, which I completely understand.
So what's wrong with Children of the Light?
Other people can tell you better than me. They're just scum.
Why can't you explain it?
Why would I, man? Why would I?
Because I'm asking you.
Well-
You have insider knowledge that I don't, and I have you right now. So why don't you explain it?
They do a lot of out of context shit. Like that I hate. All of the stuff that like all of the Reap stuff, all of the Acroyo shit. Like but they always keep starting OOC drama for no reason. That's obviously one big thing. But the politics is more problematic because I already knew how Kigos operated. Like we were leading KT together for 2 years or something. So I knew exactly how Kigos operates. Even back in KT, he was always constantly talking to others. He would never let us roll rows. He was always on the same side as Rose. He wouldn't even tell us about it. Like he wouldn't even tell us who he was talking to. We just could Theo and I could just see through it. So I just knowing the people involved and how they operate just makes it pretty obvious what's going on, even if other people don't believe it. It's just I know the people involved, I know how they work. So it wasn't that big of a surprise to me when I saw that, yeah, Swamp and Hedge and Rose were all together just dogpiling. I mean, sure, it was still a disappointment, but it wasn't that much of a surprise to me. And the dogpiling obviously was the biggest problem for me because KT should never do dogpiles. KT should only be on the receiving end of dogpiles or do equal wars. And yeah, it was kind of disgusting to me actually how much even the other members of Hedge just went along with it or were fine with it or even justified it out of the dogpiling. I mean, because it felt to me like they were completely out of the loop. Like Children of the Light, especially Kigos, were doing everything on their own and didn't even tell the other members of Hedge about what was actually going on. So yeah, just they pretty much cut the rest of the alliances out of the loop. I mean, yeah, Grumpy and Guardian isn't that hard to cut out of the loop. They're pretty passive anyway. So I hope they get out of there, honestly. I hope they get out of Hedge, man. They deserve a better future than that.
Yeah, gotcha. So I got one more question. Maybe some others I can think of. But so we left Hedge to basically join Quack? Are we just part of Quack now? Does Partisan do our FA now?
What's crack? Oh, you mean Sinisphere? No. I mean
TCKR, yeah.
I mean, obviously, I would never sign Syndicate. I don't like that TC and Eclipse kept their ties to them, but I can kind of understand it because our block in itself would be pretty small otherwise. If we maybe get like another good alliance, the problem is there aren't many good alliances out there who would even be good enough to be in that block. So I don't know if we can ever, if I can ever pull them away from TS, but yeah, they need kind of like their political security. I don't care about that. And the trade-off for that is obviously that I might hit TS myself. KT might just hit TS and they gotta be fine with it. That's the price of being allied to KT. I don't give a fuck about your political bullshit. I just want good allies. And yeah, TC and Eclipse are good allies. The rest of Quack, fuck that.
Gotcha. So you wanted Yang to come on and talk about some stuff?
I don't know. We could. Yang, wanna come on?
You mentioned wanting Yang on earlier, so that's why I bring it up.
Let's turn this into KT Gov special. We can talk about a bit more about Keck with Yang if he wants. Is Yang here? Let's ping spam Yang.
I think he's here. Arctic or Zig, can one of you guys unmute Yang if he's still here? Okay, Yang, you should be able to talk now.
I haven't seen him talk in chat lately. Maybe he's not here. Oh, wait, he is. No, that was 10 minutes ago. Is he unmuted or not? AFK, I think.
Okay, well that's all right.
Oh, he's typing. He's typing. What up, Yang? Come on VC,
Yeah.
Yang.
Yang, you're unmuted. You're. I was busy with something. Yang, it's time to talk. It's time to be a man and do man things, like chat in a radio show.
He's not coming. He's not coming. Fuck you, Yang.
Did you know if you make a copy of the sheet containing the votes, you can see which AA? Oh, leak that shit! Leak it!
Yeah, leak that shit. Do it.
Leak it! Post it here! Post it right here in this channel! Alright. I really want
If Yang
to
isn't-
do this.
Yang, you coming or not?
Okay, can someone...
Oh, give me a bloody minute. Okay. I guess we're waiting for Yang, and then we can talk a bit more about Keck and new KT.
Yeah. Can someone be an absolute hero and go and see which AA rep voted for what?
I mean,
That would be.
I can
that'd
probably
be
expect
best.
all of Crack just voted for TS, and all of and everyone else voted for like 404 or Rose or something.
I think you're gonna need to ask more specific questions because there were like 50 people that voted.
Yeah,
50
and most
AAs.
that's the thing. Like some in some clueless micro has the same voting power as the biggest alliances. That's kind of weird.
All right.
But
So,
I know for a fact that you should be able to figure out who from the alliance voted as well. I actually
think they
saw
were-
that.
I think
Never
there
went
was
on
wasn't there
final
in the
voting
Discord.
process.
Yeah, and in the Discord was probably like who was the they were masked as representatives, so it
Oh
should
yeah,
be easy
that's
to
true
figure
too. Yeah.
out. Okay, Yang, you here? What up?
Yeah, I'm here now. So,
All right, were you listening?
no, I was getting my headphones. I didn't hear it.
All right, so I just brought you on so we can talk a bit more about Keck now, about our allies, about Mythic, about the new KT government, and so on.
hmm
Where do you want to start?
Well, where should we start? I think you said let's start with Keck, I guess. So,
Oh, it started with
Wow.
Keck. All right.
yeah.
So
like,
obviously,
no,
Go ahead.
you were saying something.
no. If you want to, I want you to say something, mate. I've been talking for 2 hours.
take the initiative,
Oh,
Yang.
1 hour.
I'm not good with initiative, but let's see. Like I personally right now, like I think Keck's the only like good, like quote unquote good block in the game. Like let's be like I still think Hedge is just not doing anything with the stage. There's a bunch of dogfilers. Rose is obviously Rose, and that's like yeah, Rose and Camilla are just Rose and Rose's bitch in the end. None of them are actually like competent. None of them actually do anything
Nope.
on their own. They're yeah. And then let's see where we at. Swamp, the
Swarm
let's
is
see,
just
Immortals fighting pacifist. Swamp, yeah, they're all pixel loggers. I think I've had 2 TFP just delete on me while I was rating them.
Pixel.
I think yeah, they sent me messages too, and then they deleted it
Yeah,
the day
Yang,
after, which
do
was
you think
just peak
do you-
TFP.
do you think TI and TFP are actually competent now? Because I have a hard time believing it.
I think they're slightly better. Like I wouldn't say that they're like actually good, but they're better off than where they were, I'll say like 6 months ago. Like
No, they are not called Oasis. They are called Titfab. It's a much better name.
yeah, shut up, Borg. Your opinion is irrelevant here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like they're definitely better off. I don't think there'll be a bad block or like a group of alliances in the end. But I still don't think like they're not going to be anything special. Like they'll just be an average alliance block, and Swamp will just be forever shit.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about
Swamp is a micro block now.
let's talk about
Oh
our
yeah, they're
allies. Then.
definitely
Eclipse
new
and
allies.
TP. Actually, most of KEK just sprang up, especially Eclipse out of Mythic, obviously. Mythic were the best raiding alliance in the game,
Yes.
led by Vayne and
Yes.
Dryad, and they had so many great people there, and that just then they decided to go go make a normal alliance with a peace mode, and they made Eclipse, and so it's pretty clear why Eclipse has the closest mentality to KT. They're obviously perfectly compatible with our mentality.
Yeah, definitely. Like Eclipse is like new, but they're also like not really new. If you look at their core member base, they're all like multiple year olds. They're all like some of the smartest dudes out there. They've been in Mythic. They're all like experienced dudes. They know what they're doing, and that makes them. They're not like any average newbie alliance. Like they've been around for maybe a year tops, and they're like a top 15. I personally think they're one of the top 5 alliances in the game right now. They can easily hold their own against a lot of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not your average alliance over a year.
And let's be honest, they are great people and they're funny as fuck.
Oh yes, that's true. I still think that Pascal is fat as hell. Yes, Pascal being fat as hell is probably the best meme I've ever seen. Like, it's really funny because it's like I guess it's like not like that funny to people who don't understand it, I guess. But like Eclipse in general is just like some like the best like memers out there. Like they know how to like make jokes and they can take it pretty well too.
But there's one meme in particular that I'm concerned about with Eclipse, because you know that memes have a way of influencing reality, right? Don't let your memes be dreams.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The farmer meme is going a bit too far, because I took a look. I took a look at their lines the other day, and what I'm concerned about is mostly their noobs, their lower tier, because a lot of their noobs aren't even raiding. Even the below City 10 people, a lot of them aren't even raiding. And even the people who are at City 10 are just full farming mode. Like, that meme got out of hand. Stop being fucking farmers. Go back to raiding. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trusting that like they'll get better with that eventually. Like they have like good like smart enough gov members to like whip them all into like not being retarded as hell. So like I think they can like end up like being like one of like the best like alliances all around like in every aspect, because they've already got their like mid, they've already got like solid mid, solid high tier. They just need better like low tier members to actually know what they're doing. But like they've definitely got the ability to do it. I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, it still remains to be seen whether they can actually enforce a standard for their membership, and whether their gov has their gov, they're all great individual fighters, but do they have the know-how and the experience to make a good alliance in terms of, do they know how to train their noobs, how to select their noobs, and stuff like that? That still remains to be seen.
They've been doing pretty damn well so far, if you think about it. Like all of their original members, no, I don't think any of them have ever been gov ever. They're just like regular normal members and raiders. And then they started the clips, and they've already done this in just a year. If you give them another year, they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be like a top like 5.
Yeah. They might be one of the best fighting alliances. I mean, they already are one of the best fighting alliances, but one of the best overall alliances in a year. I think that's a reasonable expectation.
Yeah, definitely. Hold up, Xavier's asking something.
All right, then. Yeah, so let's KT government. That's another good topic, because when I came back, I saw this Yang kid. I didn't know Yang at all before. I talked to him for the first time when I came back. I didn't know who he was. Like, it turns out he's some kid from California.
Hold on, let me find the first thing you sent to me. I think there was something about calling me a retarded weeb.
No, don't post that. Don't post that. I said it.
I'm not gonna post it, but it's so funny because I just got that message randomly. It was like 8 in the morning or something, and you're like, "What's up, you retarded weeb?" That was so random.
Well, I make a good first impression, okay?
Yes, it was. I found that very comedic.
But yeah, I think when I joined, you were like staff. You weren't even proper gov. But after seeing you in action and talking to you for a bit, it became pretty clear that you're definitely KT God material, and I pretty much decided to just make you head of IA. I think it's a pretty good fit for you. And then
Yeah, I mean,
obviously, when I came back, then Dryad was also instantly on board again. And I'm not an econ guy. I hate econ. I just do war stuff. So I always need someone who takes care of all the financial shit. Like in the past, I always had Theo. Now I have Dryad. Perfect.
yeah, I mean, like Dryad can do all that like mathematics shit. Like I'll just like make sure we don't get slaughtered immediately in a war. Like I'm like Dryad does his thing and I do my thing. We all have our spots.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say Dryad. From all the people I've met over the entirety of 2020 in PNW, I'd say Dryad is by far the best guy and the one I'm most grateful for.
Yeah,
No
Dryad is
offense,
definitely no joke. Yeah, no, I'm not mad.
He's legit.
Yeah, honestly, like I guess like I have it's not I guess I can't really say much because I haven't had much experience like other places, but from like what I've seen, like Dryad is probably one of like the best like all around players I've ever met.
Yeah.
Although it's not much because I haven't exactly met a lot of people.
I mean, he still doesn't have much Gov experience. I mean, he was a Mythic. Sure, he was Mythic leader, but Mythic was just a Pirate Alliance. They pretty much didn't have to do anything other than do a little bit of small scale coordination and just shuffle the bank around every day. Be online to make withdrawals.
Hell, he's better at math than me, and that's
Yeah,
good enough.
You're
Hold
an
on,
Asian kid, yeah.
Hold up, Semi posted this thing. I gotta share this real quick. Now you tell me, Horse. Does the
What?
femboy community have a neo-Nazi problem?
I think. Who gives a fuck? What the fuck is the
Zig
fanboy
says yes.
community? What the fuck even is that? Fuck off.
No. Wait, hold on. Do you not know what a femboy is?
It's probably some shitty weep cancer. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're not entirely off the mark there. You are You're like 2/3 of the way there. I'd say. Yeah, you should do your own research on it though.
I won't. I promise you, I will not.
You definitely should. It's very informative.
I value my mental health. I value my mental health too much.
You can't say you value your mental health when you're in KT. Like those things don't go together.
You also got a point there.
So where were we on the whole alliance thing? I think we've already covered a lot of KT stuff.
Having Thamus and Baba in the alliance is obviously also a strain on my mental health. At least I don't have Rebel anymore. Fuck Rebel.
Rebel moment. Nah. I mean, we have Thamus. Thamus is a Rebel replacement.
Thamus is definitely a Rebel replacement, yeah. We're already memeing that hard. Didn't I already talk about Kotl?
Children. I think we have. I don't think I've like talked about it, but like most people like know what I think of children. Like, I personally don't like them. I don't like Akurio. Like, I don't think threatening to shoot Thalmor, like wishing Thalmor was shot, is a proportionate response to like his religious beliefs. Also, like I don't think Children of Light like are genuinely good. Like I'd like to see them in like a legitimate like war, like one-on-one with someone instead of like them dogpiling because.
Let's go KT versus Kotl 1v1. Let's see how that turns out.
I am down to 1v1. I'm down to 1v1 children, but like, yeah, I'm perfectly willing to 1v1 them. Like, we'll probably get slaughtered because of dumpers and the shitty war mechanics, but because of how just straight up little like competency matters anymore. Like, doesn't matter how good you are if there's 3 dudes just smacking your ass with it.
I think that's a bit one-dimensional though, because on stats they might have the advantage, but whose culture is better for an extended conflict though? I don't think.
We would definitely get cultural victory on this. Like,
yeah, easily.
Cultural victory. Also,
Well, Yang, you weren't even in the game when the cultural victory meme was made. Come on.
yeah, I just like saying cultural victory.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks, TGH, for that.
TJH. I mean, I think I was like around when TJH was like existing, but like I think
Nah,
they, I think they
when you started the game, they were pretty much already dead.
yeah, I think they disbanded at like a month around after I joined, something around
Yeah.
that. Like they didn't exist for long.
And
Like I
even
like
at the end of NPO's last time, they only had like 2 or 3 people even still fighting. Yeah, they were just dead.
yeah. I mean, like I saw like TGH like disband to get the forest, and I was like a month old and didn't understand. Like now that I think about it, I was like really stupid as a noob. Do you know I thought Immortals was fighting with NPO and Goons for like a week. Like I didn't know what the war like was at all. I didn't know anything about it. I literally thought it was like Ketog and Chaos against the entire game, and
Pretty
somehow
much
like
was.
Ketog and Chaos were the bad people. Like I didn't know anything at all.
Yeah, but that's just the same story for every noob. At the start, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I thought Goons was on our side. Then I got rolled by like 6 of them for 2 weeks. So
Why did you think Guns was on our side? Because I always memed with them.
bro,
I mean,
you think
they were pretty funny dudes, honestly.
I blame the fact that I was in Immortals. I didn't know anything that was going on.
Oh, you were an Immortals. Oh shit.
Yes, I might not have told you about my history.
Yeah. I mean, at least then you
let's
went to Mythic.
Yeah, no, I took a stop in error midway before Immortals and Mythic. Although, you know what's funny? I joined Immortals when I first started because of that funny 5 million signing bonus they gave.
Oh my god.
I was like, I was like looking through my recruit message, and I was like, all right, there's
5
these
million. Holy
KT,
shit.
there are these KT fellows. They look pretty cool. Then there's these Black Knights dudes. They're like, oh shit, none of them giving money except these Immortals do. So I was like, all right, let's go there. And that's how I didn't join the Good Alliance when I first started. It's a tragedy. Yes, thank you, Tyrion. That's a very accurate gift. You stole my taxes for 5 months. Damn, 30-30.
Yeah, so Yang, how do you feel about new KT?
UKT, like honestly, I think when I like first joined, I guess it's like a lot more because like a lot like better, like more improved, I guess, because when I first joined, like there was like 3 messages a day in like general chats. Like it was quiet as hell. I didn't know half the people there existed. Like when I looked there, like I didn't know like what like Kyle, like Rygus, Ryros, like all those dudes. I didn't know they existed. Like they
Yeah.
just were so silent. They
Yeah,
didn't
most
talk
of
at all.
people are just silent in peacetime, but they really, really fucking take off when we do a real war.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. It's just like I guess like when I first showed up, it was just like so quiet because there was only like I only recognized like 3 dudes, which was like Denizen, Thalmor, and Thine, Holy Saint at that time. And then like there was only like 3 like active dudes to talk all the time. Like Xavier was one of them. Like that's how I like know them better. But like I guess like that's like I thought like it was like I honestly when I first started I thought like maybe this was kind of a mistake. Not gonna lie, because of because of just how like silent it was. Like I'm sure like they're like after like war and stuff, but like in like peacetime it just felt so boring there.
And then,
Yes, and then we got our beautiful Horsecock over here swinging around his massive EP. You'd love to see it. And then yeah, I think like you coming back actually like made things better because like that's when people started like perk up and like to get more active and like get involved more with like talking and stuff.
yeah,
Then,
especially
like also like having
I think a lot of our members, like our members never lost the KT mentality, and I think they were just really fed up and demoralized with the entire the last 2 wars just being pure dogpiles and just boring as fuck. So
yeah, I mean
when I came in and started changing everything up and promised that we're never gonna do that shit again, and people obviously remembered what I did last time, so they knew my mentality and they knew they only stayed in KT originally because of that mentality. So that was
Yeah,
really
like you can see the gum channels
instantly.
like Barbarossa. Barbarossa was gonna quit like in like
Yeah,
a bucket.
Barbarossa is such an important piece of KT because sure he's introverted as fuck. He almost never talks. I think like in the 3 weeks I've been back, he said maybe like 10 lines, but they were all the most important things I've heard in that time. He always
Yeah,
gives
like if
when he
he
does give his input, it's perfectly on point. It's the absolute best KT mentality, and that's a huge confidence booster for me, especially because sometimes, yeah, when I have to make tough decisions that I think might even be controversial inside KT, and I'm not exactly sure how my people are gonna feel about it, that's always when he speaks up and it's fully on board with it and enthusiastic. Because the
yeah,
KT
definitely like
mentality, the KT mentality needs to be upheld.
yeah, like everything like he says like is stuff that like you understand and it's like it like I guess like I'm not sure how to phrase, but it's like it's always like relevant at like the right times. Like everything he says is like perfectly matched up for like the situation. Like he doesn't like waste like words. Like
Mhm.
everything he says he gets right to the point and it's always like relevant and like
And
helpful.
it's always the perfect take.
Yeah, it's like I guess like he doesn't like talk much like but like when he does it does count. Definitely like Varv's like he's he's a pretty cool dude. That's all I gotta say about him.
All right. Anything else we want to talk about? I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, I'm wiped out for tonight. I haven't been doing. I should probably like do work. I've been postponing for like a lot of the day.
What's one alliance you really want to fuck? Like aggressively, not in a good way.
I mean, aggressive fucks are good fucks, aren't they?
Well, who do you want to
Thalmor,
punch the hardest?
Thalmor,
Uh,
you're giving me one here. I don't know who to pick. You're not helping me.
it's a hard choice. I mean, obviously pixel huggers, but there's not much fun in that. I think TS,
If you give
Rose.
me like
those
5
kind of-
alliances, I could pick better. There's a lot of dudes I'd like to like smack around.
I mean, I usually just want to fuck everyone. So
I want to see like just Eclipse and KT take on all of Swamp, like
yeah,
like the old one, like all 6 of them at once.
I
Like
think
I
we
think
could
we
win.
do like pretty
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I also yeah, that also I think including company all of Keck, we could do fairly well against all of Hedge too, I think. Like Grumpy like might like kill all of like Theo's whales, but we'd have like mid high compared to them and we just like drag them down eventually. After about like 25 rounds, but we drag them down eventually.
Oh, that pin, Jesus.
Yeah,
It's not wrong.
I'm kind of out of things to talk about too. I was letting you guys go at it, and if you guys are done, then I think I'm pretty much done. Actually, you know what? Audience members, do you guys want to ask anything?
Yes, questions. Come on, questions.
You can
Or
ask.
that's a really
Yang and Horsecock are open to all.
not in the weird kind of way though. Just a question.
Yes, in the weird kind of way. What are you talking
Only for
about?
you, not for me. Only for you, man, not for me.
It's snowing really hard outside now. It's actually starting to cover the ground. So good thing
Do
I
we have
didn't do the
any
show
secret
outside.
treaties? No, we have no secret treaties. Secret treaties can go like kill themselves for all I care.
What's my secret? What's my accent? That's German. I'm German.
Who was Ryan's hegemony source? I thought we outed Riot like months ago.
Yeah, it's definitely right.
Come on, Zig. Get with the times. Stop being old. Just be young.
Phoenix,
Are we paperless?
Phoenix, where do you think Horsecock is wrong with what happened in Global War 16?
Who the fuck
Oh
is
boy,
oh,
here
that
we go
guy.
again.
Can you just type Phoenix? I want to close out the show soon.
What do I think will the next global be? It's I I think there's about 3 ways it's gonna go. One, everyone rapes Quack slash Keck again
Yep.
for the same BS reasons. Number 2, Quack gets pissed at Rose Cam and they rape them, and that's or 3, Keck declares in like all of Swamp and then the rest of the game rapes them. Either way, someone's getting raped. like
As far as I can tell, Phoenix
There's
is
no
just
even wars.
as far as I can tell, Phoenix is just some chromosomes who keeps posting dumb shit on the OWF and has no clue about anything. So I don't pay any attention to that. Some Weep asks,
Well-
you said you had accomplished everything when you quit the game. What's the goal now that you've come back? I mean, the goal is the same as it's always been. Just keep KT going strong and fuck up as much shit as I can. Just have fun, do wars, fight, and yeah, that's what KT does.
I'm just here for the ride.
Basically, what I want to do is what I've done last time I was leader. That's what sums it up.
Bro should get raped like how I did when I was 5. As much as I like the raping part of it, I'm not comfortable with raping a 5-year-old. Let's avoid that part of the conversation. Okay? How's that sound? I'm fine with 50% of your thing. See, Global 16 was started, so TI. Grave, I think you're gravely get it? That's a good pun right there. Gravely incorrect. But no, it's not TI and 404. It's you got TI and Lotus. Like 404 would just basically disband with no board bot, honestly. Like as like an ex like gov dude there, I can literally tell you, everything just stands still with no bot.
Yeah,
Like the bots, like
they're extremely
the
random.
bots
Their bots, like.
yeah, the bot's definitely amazing. Like it's not like it's like extremely helpful for a lot of situations. But if they don't have it, they'll like their Milcom will be crippled. They'll have no econ, and their IA will be like half crippled. Like that's like two and a half of the 4 departments will be absolutely useless without Lotus.
Yeah, that's the thing with like how I feel about 404 because it doesn't seem like they have any real genius individuals. They just they have they just built completely around the bot from what it looks like.
Okay, they have Syrian, Rebel, and Gov. Are you kidding me? That's not a good combination.
I mean, obviously, you know how bad their Gov is when you realize that Rebel is basically everything, doing everything.
No,
that's a terrible sign.
Yeah, currently Rebel, I believe, is both head Milcom, head FA. Like Basebon is a figurehead. No, Borg Rebel has specifically told me he is head FA.
Yeah, even Basebon told me that Rebel is head of FA. Yeah.
Yeah, unless he's straight up lying to both of us. Rebel is head of both departments right now.
I mean, Rebel is alright at Milcom, but I would never in a million years let him touch anything FA or IA related. He's just too much of a clueless retard for that.
It's not like they have much better options for FA. Like you have Borg who said TS has a recruitment problem. You have Siri who tried to mass poach an entire sphere. Who else are you gonna pick?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who else are you gonna pick?
They kind of do need some good people to come in there and just red pill the entire alliance. I don't know.
I mean, they had Kev for a bit, and he was fine. Then he deleted after a week. So basically, he did nothing at the end.
Why did Kev join Air 404 to begin with?
I think Rebel pulled a favor with him.
Okay.
Like I personally think it was Rebel because he's like close with Kev. He brought in Kevin, and Kev brought in Charlie.
Then they just quit.
Yeah, then Kev quit and Charlie went inactive.
Yeah, Charlie was inactive for almost 2 years at this point.
Yeah, Charlie, he's not a very active person. Borg rated Charlie for like 200K once. That was comedic.
Charlie was active. He was active back in like 2018, 2019, early 2019. But then he just
that's 2018 and 2019. But we're in 2021, you old man.
Yeah, mid 2019 is when he just basically just was gone and never really came back.
Definitely, yeah. Let's see. Anyone else have questions?
If you could resurrect any alliance back to where it was at its peak, besides KT, which alliance would you?
I'm already doing it with KT. I don't have to wish, but which alliance would I want to resurrect to its peak? That's a good question. I mean, I could pick Mythic, obviously, but then we wouldn't have Eclipse. So I'm not picking them.
You can't fuck with the timeline too much.
How about Guinea Pig Whaling Company or Corp, or whatever they were called?
Really? That's an interesting
I-
choice.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd
Nah.
take NPO if they brought back the stat
It's just a
side.
meme.
Like,
It's
I
just
don't
a
care
meme.
about
Yeah,
NPO.
yes. I'm completely on board with that.
Like,
The
really-
stat side
really
was
killing
by
with
far the
the
best
stat
thing about
side.
NPO.
Like, there's like no other alliance. Like, I'd rather just take NPO and
I
get
mean,
the stat side.
TGH would be a
But
good
the-
shot.
Yeah,
TGH.
TJH is where my mind goes.
Old TJ20. May as well just ally Syndicate at that point.
Yeah, I mean, and pretty much all of Syndicate's gov now is like old TGH and KT dudes.
Yeah, I mean, hold on. So they have Shio's TGH, Adam is KT,
And Justin is also TGH.
Justin, and then Partisan.
Partisan is the only one who
Partisan
stayed,
would
and
be
he only does FA.
Yeah. Like, is Adam still banned from KT?
Probably. I never unbanned him.
Probably.
All right, I'm gonna do a final call. Anyone got any questions for the panel here? Horsecock and Yang.
Sorry.
Dear
to tell you,
goodness.
but, if
Should
you
we
want to
kick
femboy, you
Bye-bye?
can talk to Vera. Yeah, you should just ban Bye-bye, like, honestly. Also, I will also take his holdings because I need city money.
Dude, just stop
You're-
trying to
you're
pull your
not-
Yangonomics shit. Stop trying to steal everyone's holdings. Come on.
If
Don't
they're
put a
leaving the
sketch in there.
alliance, I want their money. If they're leaving the alliance, that shit is mine.
I don't think Baba is gonna leave. He still has to get to 23 cities. He promised me.
We also need to reform ET, so he's not like he's.
Oh
really
yeah.
gonna want to.
I mean, he can be a ceremonial ET headmaster for as long as he's here.
Ceremonial ET master.
All right, well, I think that's about it. I think I'm ready. Yeah, are y'all done?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I just have
one last shout. One last shout.
thing.
Duck needs to join KT, and what's her name? Ramona needs to join KT, and that's about it. Peace. And Liberty, of
Yeah,
course. And
I'll-
Liberty also needs to join KT. Or
yes,
Eclipse. Eclipse is also good. You can join Eclipse if you want.
All right. Is Zig still here?
Yeah, I think so.
All right,
Yeah.
Zig is here. Zig, I'm looking through your votes for the alliance stuff. Why do you vote the weird shit, man? Like, come on. You voted Phoenix for best addition to the community, bro?
What
Are you
the
kidding me?
fuck? What?
Are you kidding me, my man? Let's see. Let's see what else he picked so I can make fun of him for it. Let's see here.
Dry
And
of
if he,
course.
oh my god, bro, he unironically voted Alex for categories.
Oh my god. Yeah, Zig, I lost all respect for you.
Zig. Let's
Why
see.
gay? What are you talking about? KT
Why
is a straight
gay?
Why are you gay? KT is a straight
KT
alliance, okay?
Alright, bro, KT is a full homo alliance. The hell are you talking about here?
Shut up, mate, shut up. Famous is not representing us.
Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. Hold on, Zig, you voted Adrienne for 7 different things?
Jesus Christ.
Am I counting this correctly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold on.
I voted for Adrian for literally everything I could, and
You voted her for 12
I
things. That's 12
fully-
different
Simp,
things. bro.
simp.
I fully admitted that at the very beginning of the show and got super called a simp, and it was hilarious.
I mean, you are a simp.
That is pretty
You voted her
simpy.
for 12 categories, my guy.
Well, at least Adrian's cool or something. You know,
I mean,
sure,
and,
she's
and you know
cool.
what? I bet most of those categories were because I suggested her.
Also, how do you how do you see the category called largest EP and not vote DTC Justice?
Yeah.
Have you
see,
seen
who
DTC
won that?
talk ever?
You know
won
what
that?
I? You know what I
I
voted
think Partisan.
for that? I think I voted Adrian.
You
for that.
voted Adrian.
Because I legitimately was like, I don't
Simp.
actually really know what an e-peen is, but I think it's something phallic, so I'm gonna vote the girl because I think that would
Yeah.
be funny. Because it's a dumb category that
Oh my
shouldn't
God.
exist.
Yeah, but DTC definitely deserves that one.
Is this show done
Oh my
yet?
God.
Can I
Yeah,
end
it's
it?
done. Yeah,
It's
it's done.
Thalmor,
almost
end
over.
me.
Let's go home. Let's go home.
And
Alright,
put him out of his misery.
let's play the theme. Good night, everyone.
Hold on. Let's make fun of Denizen. If I can find Denizen.
Okay, let's laugh
Okay,
at
there he is.
Dennison and then we'll end the show. Uh-oh, too late.
All right.
Oh gosh, not this version.
What the hell? Doomcore Thalmor Radio.
Make fun of Dennison.